Life shouldn't be hard. Life should be a fun-filled adventure every day. So now start joining up dots. Tap into your talents, your skills, your God-given gifts, and tell your boss, you don't deserve me. I'm out of here. It's time for you to smash that alarm clock and start getting the dream business and life you, well, of course, are dreaming of. Let's join your host, David Ralph, from the back of his garden in the UK, or wherever he might be today, with another jammed-packed episode of the #1 hit podcast, Join Up Dots.
Yeah, good morning to you, and welcome to episode 10 of the Get Wealthy podcast series, brought to you by Join Up Dots. And today we're diving into, I think, is the most powerful concept in personal finance. You've got to understand this if you want to get rich, and it's the power of compound interest and the power of compound actions. Now, it's something that can completely change your mindset, not just about money, but about your habits, behaviors, and goals. And the idea of compound might sound a bit like sort of jargon, but trust me, by the end of this episode, you're going to see it's so much more than that. Now, let's start with a concept most people think of when they first hear compound interest, money. Now, the idea is simple. Compound interest is when you earn interest on your interest. It's not just about earning a bit more on what you initially invested. It's about your returns growing on top of themselves. Now, over time, even small investments can grow into huge amounts. Albert Einstein allegedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. And whether or not he actually said it, it's true. There's no doubt that compound interest is a force to be reckoned with. So what does this actually mean? Right, imagine you invest £1,000 with an annual interest rate of, to make it easy, we'll say 10%. Now, after 1 year, you'll have £1,100. Now, in the second year, you're not just earning interest on your original 1,000, but on the entire 1,100. So by the end of year 2, you're going to have 1,210. You're earning more interest, and so on and so on. The longer you leave your money in, the faster it grows, thanks to the compounding effect. It's a snowball rolling down a hill, gathering momentum as it grows. My mum used to say, money leads to money, and it's absolutely true. The more money you've got, the more ability you have to make money, and one of the easiest ways is by using the compound effect. But here's the key. This is where people fail when they want to get rich. Time is the magic ingredient. The earlier you start, the more powerful the effects of compounding. So if you wait too long, you're going to lose the ability to let your money grow exponentially. Time, not the amount you initially invest, is what determines how large the end result will be. So even if you think you can only afford £15 a month, start putting it in there, because that will grow. And if you're a 6-year-old, if you're a 20-year-old, whatever, you are going to gain so much more than somebody who's in their 50s or 60s, because time allows it to build on each other. Now, here's where we shift gears and makes you realize that the compound effect is magic. Compound interest isn't just about money. What if I told you that your actions, your habits, behaviors, and decisions work the same way? In life, just like with money, small actions taken consistently compound over time. And it might not feel like it when you're just getting started, but every little effort you put into improving your health, your skills, or your relationships builds on itself. And you might not see a big difference after a day, a week, or even a month. But over the years, these tiny actions will accumulate and generate massive results. Now, I know this podcast is about getting wealthy, but if we understand the beauty of compound actions, then it will make you understand how all the little things that you're doing to grow your wealth come about. So if we look at health, imagine you decide to walk 30 minutes every day. At first, it doesn't seem like much, but over a year, you'll have walked for over 180 hours over 5 years. That's 900 hours. What starts as a daily walk becomes a massive investment in your health, and the benefits are the better stamina, improved cardiovascular health, and the increased energy levels that you get. If you're learning new stuff, the same principle applies. If you practice guitar for 15 minutes a day, you won't be a rock star overnight. You're not going to be Eric Clapton by the end of the week. But after a year, you're going to be able to play some songs and you'll see significant improvement. And after 5 years, you'll probably say that you're a guitarist and you can start performing gigs. The consistent practice compounds your progress. It builds upon itself. So just like compound interest, compound actions require patience. You don't see the results immediately, which is why many people give up. But if you stay consistent, the results will be bigger than you can imagine. And that wealth that you want to grow will just naturally occur. Now, of course, there's a downside of compound neglect. If we talk about the other side of the coin, compound interest can work against you when it comes to debt, and compound actions can work against you when it comes to bad habits too. So if you think about debt, when you're in debt, especially with high interest loans or credit cards, compound interest is actually not your friend, it's working against you. The interest on your debt is growing every month, and if you're only paying the minimum, you're not just chipping away at the principal, you're paying interest on the interest, which can spiral out of control. That's why getting rid of high interest debt as quickly as possible is crucial in your life. Negative actions compound too. So if you skip exercise regularly, over time, it's going to catch up with you. And what you could have done easy is going to be harder and harder. So if you procrastinate, those small moments of delay compound into missed opportunities and wasted potential. Just like compound interest builds wealth, compound neglect can build regret. Now, it's easy to overlook the impact of these small dots, these daily decisions, but they stack up over time. And the good news is that just as negative actions can compound, so can positive ones. Every small good decision is an investment in your future, and it's never too late to start. My wife has never been a great saver, but I've actually got her to put a lump sum away, and every morning now she says, instead of looking at Facebook, I look to see how much interest I've earned. Now, she's in her 60s, but she's now seeing the benefits of it, and she's excited by her capital growing. So how do you apply this in your life? It's simple, but just like my wife, it requires a shift in mindset. Here's the process. Number one, start small, but start now. Don't wait for the perfect time or ideal circumstances. Whether it's saving money or developing a new habit, start now. Even if it's just a small step, start now. The earlier you begin, the more time you give your efforts to compound. It's key. And consistency is key. Compounding only works if you're consistent. It's not about doing something big once. It's not about just doing the sexy stuff. It's about doing something that is small over and over again. And whether it's saving a bit of money every month, practicing that daily guitar practice, or investing time in relationships, consistency will always pay off. Now, of course, this is where people struggle, because the third one is you're going to be patient. This is perhaps the hardest part. You won't see results overnight, but trust the process. The results will come in time, and when they do, they'll be so much bigger than the initial effort. So watch for negative compounding. Be aware of your bad habits and how they can compound. Catch yourself when you're slipping into putting things off, neglecting your health, or letting your debt pile up. Just like you can compound good actions, you can turn around and stop the negative ones from growing. So let's get practical. Here's your action plan to harness the power of compound interest and actions in your life. First of all, Look at financial compounding. Open a savings account or start investing. Start at just a £10. As soon as you get paid, just move £8, £5. It doesn't matter, even if it's a small amount. Set up automatic transfers so that every month a portion of your income is going towards something that will grow over time. Start today, no matter how small the amount. Even if you say you can't afford it, you can afford £5, £4 if you're listening to this podcast. Health compounding. Pick one small healthy habit you can start today, and maybe it's walking, maybe it's drinking more water, maybe it's meditating. The key is to be consistent and let it build over time. Then skill compounding. Choose one skill you want to develop or one knowledge that you want to develop and commit to spending at least 10 minutes a day practicing it or reading about it. Whether it's learning a language, improving your writing or playing an instrument, those 10 minutes will compound into noticeable progress over time. And then track your progress. Keep a journal or use an app to track your efforts. Seeing your progress will motivate you to stay consistent and help you visualize the compounding effect in action. I play the piano. And there's certain songs now that I play and I can almost listen to myself and my fingers just do it. That wasn't the case when I started and I was trying to work out the chords and the tune and stuff. It all builds up. So I hope you can now see just how powerful the concept of compounding is, not only with your finances, but in all areas of your life. By understanding and applying this principle, you can take control of your future, one small dot at a time, and start joining up the dots. And remember, the key is to start now. Stay consistent and trust that the small steps will add up to something amazing over time. I promise you they will. So don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Your feedback really helps us reach more people and continue bringing you valuable content. And until next week, we'll see you in the next episode.
That's the end of Join Up Dots. You've heard the conversation. Now it's time for you to start taking massive action. Create your future, create your life. It's the only life you've got. We'll be back again real soon. Join Up Dots, Join Up Dots, Join Up Dots, Join Up Dots. Join up.